We have just witnessed the most exciting week of the year in the stock market, where the price went up, went down, and it finished the week exactly where it started. Guys, we've just witnessed one of the most boring weeks in the stock market this year so far, and this was mainly due to one factor. We had option expiring on Friday. We had 2.1 trillion worth of options that expired on Friday, the 18th of November, and we'll be covering what this means for the stock market now that the options have expired, and also what we should be looking out for the week ahead in the stock market. Guys, it's going to be an action-packed video. Make sure, as always, if you do enjoy the video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We do bring out a new stock market analysis outlook every single Monday morning. Now let's get into it, guys. So we've mentioned last week in our previous video that we have had a record amount of calls and puts. We had a record amount of puts sitting at 3,900 and record amount of calls sitting at 4,100 on the S&P 500. And we did predict last week that we will have a range-bound week, that price may bounce between 3,900 and 4,100. And guys, this is exactly what happened. We were 100% spot on with this analysis. If you haven't watched our previous video, there's a link in the description below. We can go back and watch it. Now, on Thursday, actually, we've had a record amount of calls sitting at the strike price of 4,000, guys. As reported by Bloomberg, in November, we had a record amount of options recorded ever in the stock market. And guys, this has meant that the price has actually stalled for most of the week. Now, where did we actually close? So on Thursday evening, we had a record amount of calls sitting at the strike price of 4,000. And if you are to look at where did we close the week, guys, we've actually closed the week here on the S&P 500 at 3,964, just below 4,000 and just above 3,900, which caused what? Caused the maximum pain for options traders, guys. This was zone manipulation and nothing else. Now, we've given all this free in our Discord community. If you're not part of the Discord community, guys, make sure you go and sign up for free on our website, guys. It doesn't cost anything, and there's a lot of free useful content provided there by the MCI Trading Academy team. Now, what's in store for the week ahead? So all those options are now expired. Most of them have expired wordless. What's in store for the stock market this week? Now, first of all, guys, if we are to look at the economic calendar, just bear in mind that this will be a short trading week, guys. The stock market will be closed on Thursday. The US stock market will be closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving Day. And on Friday, we will have a very short closing day, okay, where the stock market actually closes at 1 o'clock 1 p.m. US time. It will be around 6 p.m. UK time, guys. So bear that in mind. The only economic news this week, guys, and this is the one that may cause some damage, will be the FOMC meeting minutes, which are predicted to come on, to come on Wednesday, the 23rd of November at 7 p.m. UK time. So that's the only economic news to watch out for the week ahead, guys. Now, in terms of what's in store for the week, looking at the charts here, let's start by looking at the Dow Jones at US 30, guys, because there's something very interesting that I want to show you here. First of all, we've mentioned last week how we're looking to get a break of structure, okay, and that didn't happen last week. We closed just below the break of structure zone here, just below the break of structure level, and guess what? We closed exactly below that break of structure level again this week, guys. So that's incredible. So overall, this trend is still bearish, looking at the weekly time frame on US 30. Now, what I'm predicting this week, guys, unless the Fed meeting minutes, they will come in as a shock to the market, I think, in my opinion, we will have an up week this week, just to induce a lot of buyers. Okay, however, if the Fed meeting minutes come in as a shock to the market, we may crash just before Thanksgiving, which I think is very unlikely, but there's also a possibility. Anything can happen in the stock market, guys. Remember that. Now, looking at the US 30 here, guys, we are still in a downtrend. Okay. Looking at the weekly time frame. Now, what's actually happened last week is that we've came into this 8-hour IC here. Now, all we've done last week is just consolidating around this area here. And one thing to note here is that we had a nice reaction, perfect reaction out of this daily IC here. Now what I'm looking for in here is either if we break below this level, then below this level here, below this IC, then there's definitely a lot of downside to come. However, if we don't, what I'm looking for, guys, is this weekly IC. There's plenty of liquidity sitting around here, and I'm expecting price to go higher, okay, into and around 34,616 or so, into this daily sorry if I'm to look at the exact price, is 34,888 or so, into this daily IC consolidate here, where we can take a short and aim for a retest of those lows here, guys. Okay, as a first target, I will be retesting this trend line here, and if we go below this, then I'm retesting those lows, and in particular this weekly IC here. That's a very interesting area where we may potentially go long. But as it stands now, guys, I think unless we manage to break below this low, okay, it's very unlikely, but it can happen, then I expect us to go into 34,888, where I'm looking for some consolidation, and perhaps we can take a short from there. Next, let's look at the UK 100. And guys, here, if we have to look at the weekly level, okay, we finished the week on a positive note here, and we are just, if we are going back to the daily here, we are consolidating and rejecting this daily IC here, which is very interesting to me, because unless we are able to break above this, then I can see further downside. However, my first scenario in this instance here, especially that we had a nice play out of this daily IC here, is for us to actually break above, induce a lot of buyers, and come into this 1 hour IC, which sits at around 7488 or so. If we come in here, this would be we will have some resistance from the trend line, and you will have that 1 hour IC that I'm looking for to potentially take a short into, at least as a first target, come into this daily IC here, clear the liquidity below, and come into this daily IC. Obviously, guys, if we break and have a candlestick close below this first, then there's further downside to come for sure. Next, we get the DAX here, and guys, the DAX here has been doing exactly the same thing. It's consolidating within the daily IC here, guys. Okay, now for it to extract maximum pain here, guys, I'm looking, there's plenty of liquidity that is resting above here. So I see a case where price can just inch higher, clear the liquidity here, and then close back here, where we can take a short. So as it stands, this looks very bullish. However, cracks are starting to appear. We are starting to get overbought on a daily here with negative divergences, guys. So be very careful here. If we do go higher, I think that would be most probably a trap. So don't go longing in here, especially if you go above this level. Be very careful, because if you do go long here, okay, then the market turns against you and goes all the way down. Okay, where? Well, to fill this IPA, first of all, this IPA and this IPA into this IC here and the retest of this trend line, then that can be very damaging to you. So be very careful. But as it stands, this looks very bullish, and we just need to see some cracks here, and the cracks will appear, guys, most probably when we see those 8-hour 20 and the 50 EMA crack. Until then, this is still in a bullish trend, however with negative divergences, where we can see that the momentum of the sellers is actually, the momentum of the buyers, apologies, it's slowing down. Next, we got US 100, and guys, here this has played out perfectly as we have expected it. We have seen some reaction out of this weekly IC. However, for market makers to create the maximum amount of pain for traders, I'm looking at this daily, at this weekly IC here, where price can come into here, consolidate, and then perhaps we can get a short position where we can retest those lows here, guys. We should be around here. So this is either the weekly IC or the daily IC here, where we can feel this IPA here as well, and it will be around 12,626, guys. Remember, the Fed is still raising interest rates. There is no reason for us to go full bull on the stock market just yet. Okay, be very, very careful. However, if we do see, okay, and I've got this 1 hour IC sitting here, okay, at around 11,468. So if the price comes here, you can take a long-term, perhaps a short-term long position. If we do crack below here, we see a candlestick close below, then I can see further downside, especially if we see a candlestick closing below this level here, then I can see us having a lot more downside where we can potentially test the lows or have new lows. Okay, remember the overall trend is still a downtrend here, guys, so be very, very careful. Next we get the US 500, guys, and here I'm still the same thesis, the same analysis as last week, guys. Okay, I'm looking for price to come into this daily IC here, okay, which is right below the upper expected move, and if it does come there, okay, there will be a nice short opportunity into at least this level here, just to fill this IPA here, okay, which is around 3,820 or so. Okay, that will be the first target. As it stands, okay, I can see us, going higher here, starting beginning of the week here. Okay, guys, but as it stands, if you look at the 4 hour IC here, it looks like the price is having a reaction of the 4 hour IC, so be very careful here. If you see a 4 hour candlestick closing below this level here, okay, then there's more downside to come first. Okay? However, if we close above this level, then I can see us going higher and into that daily IC there, guys. Okay, just remember the maximum pain as it stands is for the market makers to induce a lot of buyers and then for them to crash the stock market, okay, which I can see that happening coming into December, guys. Okay, next we get the VIX, and the VIX is actually opened with a gap this week, okay, and as a potential play for the week, I can see us trying to fill these two gaps that are remaining here, one sitting at 23, one sitting at 22.5. I can see us trying to fill those two gaps, okay, and then that would mean that the S&P 500 will go up, perhaps into the daily zone we would like to get a short from, and then I can see a huge spike in the VIX, creating a lot of fear and taking the S&P 500 down with it. Okay, that will be a potential play for the week, guys. However, if we do see a lot of fear coming into the market, okay, and we close above this level here, then I can see us retesting 30-35 again sooner than later. Next we get the DXY, and guys, the DXY here finished perfectly. Okay, had a beautiful reaction out of the daily IC as given out on the Discord community, guys. Again, if you're not part of the Discord community, make sure you request your free access. And now the price is going higher. Now on a daily time frame, okay, we are bearish. However, on a weekly time frame, we are bullish, and we're having a nice reaction out of this weekly IC here. Now short term, I can see this trying to consolidate here for a bit with the S&P trying to push up higher. However, if there's some negative news, if perhaps the Fed minutes come in as a shock to the market and it causes a huge sell-off, I can see the DXY spiking higher. Now there's two levels I'm watching. It is this one day IC here sitting at around 109.5, and this other IC here slightly higher sitting at around 112.100, guys. And it's either we have some reaction out of those two, and if we don't, and if we cruise through them both, then it's new highs for the dollar, and there will be potentially new lows for the S&P 500. Be very careful on that, guys. Monitor the dollar. That will tell the story most probably, guys. Next, we have gold here, guys, and just to show you here, okay, we are seeing some reaction out of the weekly IC, guys. If you look at this, this is in a downtrend, so remember that we are in a downtrend on gold, which can potentially reiterate with the case for a stronger dollar short term as it stands. Now we have a nice double bottom here that we predicted, and we've given this out in our previous videos. Now for the double bottom to be final, okay, I'm looking at this area here, okay, as a potential take profit, just to clear this liquidity, and it will bode in well with just clearing that liquidity there. However, guys, just one thing to remember, one thing to notice here, okay, it's that we have a lot of liquidity resting below here, so I'm pretty sure we will go and clear those at some point this year, guys. So be very, very careful. If the dollar gets very, very strong this week, then I can see us going and just clearing that liquidity there. That level here, this level here is way too clean for them to ignore, so there's most probably they're going to take that out. So be very, very careful, guys, this week. As it stands, okay, in my opinion, I think we'll clear this liquidity first, consolidate here, and then have new lows. Okay. However, we are seeing a reaction out of the weekly IC, which is as expected. Okay, for now. So watch out, guys. Next, we get GBPUSD, and again, guys, we were 100% spot on with this. We given this out in our video last week, and we said that price will have a reaction out of 120 level, okay, out of this daily IC, and this is exactly what happened. Okay, perfect reaction, and now we're going down. Now it's either we have a reaction out of this daily IC here, or if we break below, then I can see us retesting the lows here, okay, and coming into this daily IC here, sitting at around 1.0708 or so. Okay, so watch out for that, guys. Stronger dollar will push GBPUSD down. Lastly, guys, let's talk about Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, we finally had, we discussed this last week, we've had our break below this consolidation zone here, and now this Bitcoin has there's no buyers coming into it at all whatsoever, guys. As it stands, we are going down to our target. We are targeting, as mentioned at the a couple of months ago, we are targeting 12,500 as an area of interest where we would like to buy long-term Bitcoin. As it stands, this has no power, and unless buyers comes in, this will just slowly grind down. Okay, so monitor this, guys, have some alerts set in, and watch for that 12,500 as a level of interest. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you are new to trading or would like to learn more about the strategies that we use, go over to our website, mcitradingacademy.co.uk, where you can find out more about the mentoring courses we offer. You can see what our students say about the courses they've taken. And you can also join the Discord community, guys. Thank you very much, guys, and I hope you have a great trading week.